Huge gains in the stock market in a short time only come with huge risks attached. That's a golden rule of investing. However, over this last year, there has been one asset with little to no risk and huge gains. So if you will, the holy grail of investing that is believed to not really exist. We found it, and I will tell you exactly which asset this one is over the next couple of minutes, so stay tuned. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe, and in just a second we'll be jumping into this ominous investment, into the holy grail of investing, if you will. But before I proceed to reveal that asset to you, there's one big announcement that I have to make. We are live as of today. Our international website, hkcmglobal.com, linked in the description below, is live. You can go there. You can read relevant, critical news articles, but most of all, you can subscribe to our daily market analysis service. We analyze 200 assets on a daily basis: Bitcoin, altcoins, gold, silver, precious metals, tech stocks, oil, energy companies, all of those. And other than here on this YouTube channel, you can subscribe to whatever market you wish, and you will get daily, yes, daily updates on every single market move. You will get notifications on when to jump into the course. You will get access to our model portfolio in all those asset classes. And you will never again miss any opportunity that's coming up in the stocks, in the asset classes that you wish to invest in. So if that sounds at all interesting to you, go down to the description. Do not miss out. You can proceed watching that video later on. Go to the description, have a look around and see what we got cooked up there for you. Okay, but now back to what I just promised to you. So, obviously, there's risky things to invest in. And of course, you can make huge gains with the newest altcoin or maybe even Bitcoin when it's hugely down in a bear market. But every single one of those investments usually comes with a great risk attached, because you're putting all your eggs in one basket, as the saying goes. However, in investing, there's one beautiful product where that rule doesn't really apply. Because yes, you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. However, that basket is not one basket, but is actually a combination of multiple hundreds of baskets attached to one big basket. I'm talking about an index. So for example, the MSCI World or the S&P 500, or of course the Nasdaq, and in this case the Hang Seng. And so while one individual stock, for example, can go broke, can completely bust, can go to zero, there is no chance in the world that a index can ever go to zero, because there's hundreds of companies accumulated in that index that all together make up that index. And so it's borderline impossible, well, dare I say it is completely impossible, that all those hundreds of companies go broke all at the same time. That just will not happen, I promise to you. And likewise, of course, this diversification that naturally happens in an index usually leads to not only decreased risk, but also leads to usually decreased chances of high gains. However, the Nasdaq is an index that has been absolutely special in that regard. Because if I take you over here to our one-day chart of the Nasdaq, we will just quickly have a look on how the Nasdaq performed over this just last 12 months. So just a mere year. So starting in end of March, beginning of April of 2024, up until today, the Hang Seng index is up a staggering 44%. So nearly 50% in just one single year. And I'm not really sure if you really understand on how great of a performance that really is. But I'll show you. So if we go, for example, let's take a look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq here also on the day chart, beginning of April 2024 up until today, the Nasdaq, not even 10%. Not even 10%, close to 9% of performance. Let's take a look at what other great performers do we know. Let's take a look at obviously the S&P 500. S&P 500 starting also in April of 2024. Up until today, same, 9% of performance, while the Hang Seng did 44%. But it gets even better. Let's maybe talk about Bitcoin then. Bitcoin, somewhat of a similar story. Beginning of April 2024, where have we been? That's March still. April of 2024 up until today, 24% 24, no, not even 23% of performance in Bitcoin. So the Hang Seng even outperformed Bitcoin by a factor of 2. And bear in mind, with Bitcoin, we have to be honest, there's always a risk that Bitcoin can lose like half of its value in a couple of days or maybe even hours. Okay, maybe not hours anymore, but really in a couple of days or even weeks. But I can guarantee you that will not happen with the Hang Seng, no chance. So I really hope it's getting across on how crazy of a performance that is that the Hang Seng pulled off in that period. I'm really getting excited here, sorry about that. And so while in all fairness, one might usually think after such a strong move in an index, it might maybe be time for some consolidation and that in the next future there's not such great gains to be expected again. Let me maybe give you a broader picture on where are we coming from in the Hang Seng index. So as we're going over to the 1 week chart, I mean, look at this. Look at this. The levels that we're currently at in the Hang Seng, those levels of 23,000 and something. We have been at those levels all the way back in mid-07. So that's almost 20 years back. We've been there on those levels almost 20 years back. And I don't know about you, but would you say that the Chinese economy has improved over the last 20 years? I would say so, yes, for sure. So even after this strong rally of close to 50% in just a mere year, we're still far, far from overextended or even expensive in that market, at least in historical terms. And that to me becomes even more obvious if we just take a short look on how the Chinese economy has developed since that time. So we're here in 07, where we have been at those exact same levels as today. And since then, we have had a GDP growth of 14% in a year, 9% in a year, 9% in a year, 10% in a year. So you see, ever since, the Chinese economy has been growing and growing at a rate way higher than, for example, the world economic leader, the United States. Take a look at this other chart that I got prepared for you. Here we got the PE ratio, so the price to earnings ratio of the Hang Seng index. Again, starting from 06 in this case. Back then, we've been at a somewhat, I would say, normal, healthy valuation for a huge index of 14. And we, of course, have climbed up hugely to 24. That was unhealthy, of course. But right now, even after this strong rally, starting from a PE ratio of 7.3, super low, we are right now still only at a PE ratio of 10. That's not expensive. So if you are scared that after this strong move, it might come to an end super soon, we are not expensive in this market. Of course, with our Elliott wave analysis, we only look at chart patterns, but still, fundamentals do not have to be disregarded completely. Okay, but then let's get back to our current outlook on the market. Where do we see the market to proceed from here? And before we do so, please pardon my next short ad block. We also have started our social media pages on both X and Instagram, where we also post daily, so please go down to the description. There we likewise got our Instagram and our X page linked. It's informational, it's educational, it's also somewhat funny at times. So don't miss out if you're on X or Instagram. Do not miss out to also get a bit of our content there. But proceeding from here onwards. So ever since this huge overreaching wave 2 bottom, I will just also show you in the overreaching picture. So after all this long sideways movement, we conclude that this sideways movement has been a wave 1 top here all the way back in October of 07. And ever since, we see the market as in a huge wave 2 correction that has ended in October of 2022. And ever since this huge overreaching wave 2 top, we see the market currently in the early developing stages of an overreaching wave 3, and as of now concluded the wave 1 top over here. We have then again concluded the wave 2 bottom over here, and currently we are in the development of a wave 3 within that larger wave 3. And within that larger wave 3, within the larger wave 3, we are currently still in the development of a wave 2 bottom to form, and we see that wave 2 bottom to form somewhere here in the next future. And so while I just told you that there's still a long way to go for the Hang Seng index, currently over the next couple of weeks and maybe even months, we see a top in the market as imminent and see downward price action from here onward. That even is a short target zone. So if you are long the market, this is the perfect zone for you to collect the profits that you accumulated so far and then wait it out until we fall back into that area here. And as we approach that time, of course, we will be placing a target zone here for you to get into the market and to maybe give you the chance to really accumulate generational wealth in here, because that is really an opportunity that I will not want to miss out on. So I hope that was helpful to you. As just mentioned before, here on this channel, you will get tons of free value. As of now, we currently are uploading like 2 to 3 videos a week. We will scale that up to all the way of 6 to 7 videos a week as we get further along. But if that is not enough for you, if you do not just want to see videos of my personal preference, but if you want to not miss any opportunity in the assets that you invest on, go to the description. There's a link taking you to our newly launched website that has just gone live today. And there you can choose out of 200 assets that we analyze on a daily basis and where we send out updates. You will get push notifications and you will get entries to our model portfolios. So if that is of any interest to you, please consider visiting that website, seeing if there's something that will help you improve your own investing and trading. And if you just want to stick with free value, that's perfectly fine to me. But please do not miss to press on that subscribe button down here, turn on the bell notification, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.